Appreciate everybody that's been waiting here. Appreciate your patience. Let me get this live chat thing going here. People, we are going live on a Saturday in the afternoon, which is not our normally scheduled time. If you are just joining us in the lifeboat, if you want to tell us you're here, that'd be great. I see Deja. Deja, it is good to see you, my friend. I appreciate you. Seventh Son is here. Good to see you. People, got a ton of cool stuff to talk about today. It's a lot of really neat things happening currently here at the lifeboat. A lot of cool stuff that we can discuss. But I want to thank everybody. I'm going to adjust this camera a little bit. If we can there. That ought to be a little better. Like I said, we've got some cool stuff to discuss. And we've got some new folks that we want to welcome, which is always really, really exciting. Oculi Mortis, good to see you, my brother. Appreciate you stopping by. I really do. Wanted to, like I was just telling everybody, we've got some new members that we're going to be welcoming into the crew. Enough people have asked that we do this on the at a time when everyone else can get onto the live feed, so we're doing just that. It's we've been having an awful lot of people that have been. Mike, good to see you. Appreciate you stopping by, Mike McGill. Elric, good to see you, my brother. Haven't seen you on one of these in a minute. Charlie Mullins, excellent to see you, Charlie. Appreciate you stopping by. Folks, we're going to have a lot of stuff to talk about here in a few minutes, but I want to welcome everybody that's getting onto the boat. Really appreciate you. As I was saying, this is not our normally scheduled time, so we're doing this for all of the individuals who are on different parts of the world or the country and didn't have the opportunity to stop onto these normally. We want to make sure that everyone gets a chance to get on one or two of these feeds. It really is more of an opportunity for you to get to know the other people on the crew. It gives you the chance to be to interact with one another. It's very often the live feed feels a little bit more like the kind of a thing where you have a chat room almost, which is just a perfect scenario, I think. So people, we're going to be getting underway in a moment, but just wanted the opportunity to welcome everybody as they're coming in. It's again a slightly different time than we normally do this, but I think that that's going to work out. We want to give everyone a chance to pop onto this, people that normally haven't had that opportunity, and really, really happy that everyone has joined us here. Hope you're having a great weekend. I am. We've had some really, really exciting stuff happening here on the boat. First of all, people, if you've been watching the number of people, Ryan, good to see you. Ryan, appreciate you being here. I'm glad that that you had a chance to stop in. People, if you've been watching we have been bringing on quite a few people when it comes to new crew members, which is exciting. We've seen the numbers grow by close to 70 in the last couple of days, which is awesome. We want to get the message of what we're doing out to as many people as possible. That's been super exciting to see that. Also, the number of people who have been watching the segments that we've been doing concerning the goodbye letters to drugs have just been overwhelming. We have hundreds and hundreds of people that have been watching those letters, and it's really been a great opportunity for people to meet the crew and to get a little bit of insight into their lives, into what's been going on with them, and that's another really, really exciting thing that we've got going on the boat. As I said last night, people, Monday the Never Quit Quitting shirts will be becoming available. That's super cool. We ran into a little bit of a hiccup when they sent out the first batch, and that first batch came without with the lifeboat as one word. There's a reason that lifeboat has been, broken up. The lifeboat, 3 words, as opposed to the lifeboat, 2 words, because the type of lifeboat that this is. People, if you're new to the channel, this started out the Tommy Scoville show while we were searching for a name. I never wanted the channel to be named after me, but it was sort of a placeholder until we could find something that was appropriate. And it just kept coming up time and time again how regardless of what your habit or your drug of choice is, we're all in the same boat. And it's one of those things that everybody seemed to to really take to, which was the reason behind the lifeboat, this boat that we're all in, this boat of life. We really are all in this boat together. People, today, I wanted to talk a little bit about something I've spoken about in the past, but I wanted to talk about it in a little bit more depth. And I'm going to be talking about the rat park experiment. And if you're familiar with this, or if you remember me talking about it, this was an experiment done years ago in the 80s. I should say decades ago now, in the 80s. There was a commercial that got a lot of traction in the United States. It was an anti-drug commercial. It was very popular. And it showed a rat, a laboratory rat, in a cage. And what they would do is they would take 2 water bottles. And one of the water bottles was simply that. It was water. And the other was mixed with either cocaine or heroin, depending on which set of experiments they were doing. And what they found was that the rat would go up and hit the feeder bar for that water and just continually go back to the spiked water again and again and again. And almost 100% of the time, it would do so until it overdosed and died. And in the rare occurrences that didn't happen, Alan Ballantyne, good to see you, my brother. On the rare occurrences where it did not cause overdose and death, it most assuredly had these animals in very, very bad shape. They were, for all intents and purposes, addicted to the drugs that they kept going back for time and time again. Then the second cage was something that had gotten the nickname Rat Park. And what they did was they assembled a cage that, as opposed to the other one, which was really 100% bare, it was stark other than the 2 different water bottles. Other than that, there was literally nothing in the cage except the rat. Well, in Rat Park, they built basically a wonderland for rodents. They had balls of a bunch of different colors. They had little tunnels. They had a wheel that the animal could run on. They had tons of members of the opposite sex who were in there as well, and an assortment of different kinds of food. They basically packed this other cage with everything that a very well-to-do rat might have assembled in its perfect dreams. It was a place where there were so many different things going on that it gave the animal considerably less time to think about going over and hitting that cocaine or that heroin nonstop. And a really, really unique thing happened. As opposed to the cage where 100% of the rats, or near 100% of the rats, just continued to do the drugs until they overdosed and died. In the other cage, in the Rat Park cage, there was none of that going on at all. Really, we had a situation that the rats very rarely went back to the drugs, if ever. And when they did, it was something that they would do maybe once a day. Just didn't come out with the same results in any way, shape, or form. And it really made people start to question a lot about addiction. It really made people question the mechanism behind the nuts and bolts, so to speak, about how addiction affects human beings. And there were similar experiments done where they tracked people throughout a 4 and 5 year period of time, and they started to look closer at their surroundings. They started to look closer at what was going on in their lives versus just the interaction between the individual and the drug. And what they have come to believe, people, is that a lot of drug addiction, and depending on which report you read, they try to do it by percentage. You'll hear 80%, you'll even hear higher in some reports, that the largest component to drug addiction is the surroundings. And it has led you to really start to wonder exactly what it is that drug addiction means, especially in a place like America, where right now the most recent statistics said that 48% of all people in America are either addicted to drugs or have a immediate family member who is. I don't mean their third cousin twice removed. When they say immediate family member, we're talking about mom, dad, brothers, or sisters. 48%. So every other person, for all intents and purpose, is either a drug addict or is directly related to a drug addict. This is something that is now affecting virtually everybody in this country. So when you start to look at the Rat Park experiment, and you start to really take a hard look at the environment and what your environment does in terms of either keeping you a drug addict or keeping you off drugs, one of the things that it really makes you start to wonder is how social interaction affects someone's ability to either A, not become a drug addict, or B, just as importantly, to beat the drug addiction in your life. So, as I was reading this experiment and going through this report last night, it really made me start to wonder. And I started looking at some other experiments and reports that are being done where they talked about addiction and the cell phone, and they talked about how right now in the world there are many people who are literally addicted to that little handheld computer that we carry around with us at all times. Because let's be really honest, folks, the smartphone is it's become a tool that is far less phone than it is computer. I'm sure you've heard that in terms of the capabilities of an Apple iPhone, their fourth generation, the iPhone 4, one of those had more computing power than everyone else. I mean, than every other computer everywhere that was on the Apollo missions into space. Oculi Mortis says, wait, I have something to say. Well, by all means, Oculi, please, if you have something to say, please say it. So people, this experiment, big hugs to everyone. Well, we really appreciate that, OM. Thank you. I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you are reaching out to everybody. It's really kind of the nature of what the live feed is all about. But in terms of these phones that we carry around and the addiction that we have with them, it has been said many times that the cell phone has shrunk the world. And right now on this, on this channel, we've got about 20 countries that have people who tune in. Happily dissatisfied, being satisfied leads to ease of comfort. Too much comfort can lead to lapse of effort. Well, I'm sure that took some effort. Appreciate you. So this phone that is supposed to, or this computer that we carry, this little handheld device, is supposed to shrink the world. And in many ways it has, like nothing else. Now we are able to communicate with people from all over the world in a matter of seconds. What they're finding, though, is the type of communication that this phone creates is different than what we do in the real world. And we're not getting the same benefit from the relationships that we build via social media and via the phone than we do, obviously, sitting down with somebody one-on-one. And it, again, almost everything, for me, harkens back to the lifeboat. Because this is, most assuredly my mission, and this is the most important thing in my life right now. Is the driving force here is the lifeboat, and a theory that started this whole thing. Hey, Kiss Freak, my friend, it's good to see you. Thank you for stopping in. It's always a pleasure. I haven't seen you in a minute. Really happy that you made it in. So people, what we're trying to do here on the lifeboat is to sort of challenge the notion that has been put out for very long periods of time as it concerns drug addiction. There are things that are really sort of glaring when it comes to how the world views drug addicts. And I don't have to tell you, this is obviously not something that's going to take you by surprise, but dealing with drug addicts is something that our country doesn't like doing, period. we're considered misfits. We're considered broken toys that, for the most part, can't be repaired. And that really is society's belief. The reason that there was such a need for what we're doing here on the lifeboat is because we really want to. Has anyone woke Fee up? I don't know whether or not they have, but if someone wants to reach out to Fee, that would be great. People, the interaction that we're trying to build here on social media, we were of the belief that what the lifeboat was capable of doing was really like a twofold mission. Number one, we wanted to highlight the people on the channel. The people on the channel are very much an active part of what we do here. We read their goodbye letters to drugs. We're going to be doing interviews with the actual crew members on this boat, so that people can get an idea of the face of a drug addict. Because if we were to ask the average American, do me a favor and describe a drug addict, there is an instant vision that people have in their minds, and it really is a very, very different thing than what is reality. In this day and age, if you go back to the statistic that I read, 48% of Americans say that they're either addicted to drugs or have a family member who are. So obviously, the visual image of the guy in the alleyway, who's sleeping behind dumpsters and basically has let himself go. Oftentimes, their body is in disrepair. Their teeth are falling out. You have this visual image of what it means to be an addict, and that visual image has done much damage. So what we want to do is take the tools that are available to everybody on the planet, right? This social media, and use it for something it probably was not designed, or at least certainly isn't being used for, which is the second part of what our goal is. The first part is to show that addicts are people too. And just because you slightly veered off course and you find yourself, at the mercy of a chemical or of a substance or of a habit, doesn't mean you're a write-off. It doesn't mean that the rest of your life has to be penned into a box that says, you can't be helped, and that, you're damaged goods. Stacy Michaels, good to see you. So instead, what we're trying to do is to put together a place where people can go to talk about the problems that they have and to get support. We wanted to build a place that was free of shame, that was free of judgment, and that the default setting on the lifeboat was to be love. Because when you start to look at the Rat Park experiment and all of these other studies, it really seems that the opposite of addiction might not be sobriety, but the opposite of addiction might be connectivity. Having people that you connect with really seems to be the magic bullet when it comes to preventing addiction, to be sure, but also to treating it and getting people back onto the hey, Rip Curl Readiness. Excellent to see you. I'm really happy that you're here, my friend. But also to help people get back onto that path. And if you spend any time here, what you're going to find is that, just like the people that are coming in right now to the live chat, there's an instant recognition of everyone around them. They are getting to know one another on a much deeper level than normally takes place just, through the interactions that you traditionally see on social media. We are successfully building a support network of people that are helping others to get off drugs and to stay off drugs. Really the dream of what we're doing here. So if you're new to the lifeboat, what I would suggest is that you take a little bit of time to check out the other people who are going to be here with you. One of the easiest ways to do that, you can stop and start looking at the letters, the goodbye letters written to drugs of choice. If all these were letters, people, they would still be really powerful, but they're not. They're people. Every one of these letters is attached to a human being, is attached to a story, and this is such a fantastic way to really get an idea of who it is you're on this boat with, And so far, we have seen how this has affected individuals trying to quit. They will watch one of these and they'll hear something that resonates so much with them because either they're talking about the same drug of choice in the goodbye letter, or the things that they're describing in terms of their feelings, their surroundings, and all of the things that they've gone through really make the addicted person hearing this realize, maybe for the first time, that they are in the same boat as so many other people. One of the defining characteristics of addiction is the fact that you are alone. Even if you are in a room of 400 people who are all using, even if you have 3 or 4 crime partners or drug partners that you're with each and every day, it really is a disease where you are all alone. And the people who seem to be very successful trying to get sober often have a very strong support system of family. And this is something that we say all the time here, but you've heard the expression, you can't choose your family. Well, we're here to say you absolutely can. There is no reason on this, God's green earth that you cannot choose your family. And here on the Lifeboat, we have done just that. We have chosen to assemble a very large family, a support group, that is here to lend assistance and to always be there, whether it's just with positive thoughts and prayers or a phone number if you feel like you're slipping. One of the things that we encourage anybody that's in the process of quitting is to make sure that if they start feeling that backslide, if they start feeling like they're about to drive to the liquor store, or they're about to call a drug dealer, they're about to, to go and make that mistake, that they reach out to people on the boat. And it's already happening, people. It really is. There are individuals here who got through their toughest day so far by coming here and telling people exactly what's going on in their lives, by opening up and saying, hey, it's I'm hurting. What I could use is some help. Stephen says, that's true. No matter who you get high with, at the end of the day, more than likely, they will not be by your side when you're going through withdrawals. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And the truth of the matter is, even if they are, when you build relationships solely around drugs, what you get is a situation where, as opposed to real friendship or real family, the chemical is the catalyst for everything. Normally, when we make friends, we do so because there are characteristics about that person that we admire, or there are characteristics about that person that remind us of ourselves, our previous selves, the people we want to be. But there is an interaction and a desire to be friends with this person based on traits. And when you build friends in the drug world, you're making that choice to get. Beth says she is not getting notifications for lives. Beth, I am sorry to hear that. And I will be with you on 1 second on that because that is important. But when we build friendships the way that we're doing here, using social media this way, what you end up with is people who have something in common. And what they have in common is that they are ready to give and receive love, support, kindness, respect, dignity, all of these tools that have proven the most effective weapons on the planet when it comes to beating drug addiction. So it's really just a much better system. But Steve, that's a great comment. For those of you who are not getting the alerts, the funny thing is you're going to get the alert that says we went live. You'll probably get it tomorrow at about 3 o'clock. It seems to be that our new partner is having some trouble with this alert function. And with 60 million, content creators on YouTube, I can understand that it's probably a tall order. And yes, I know it's done by computer or whatever the case may be. But when you have that many channels out there that are all listing, and the crossover, and this person subscribes to 15 channels and this person subscribes to 9 channels, so you have an overlap of 3. It's just, what they're trying to pull off. I'm not making excuses, but boy, oh boy, it's a tall order. So what we have done, and the announcements on our system from doing it ourselves should start tomorrow. We've just been getting everything put together. But if you send an email to our own bell at gmail.com. And obviously, people, the reason we do that is if you want notifications, what do? You hit the bell, right? The little bell symbol on YouTube, and if you hit that says all, then you get an alert each and every time the channel that you are subscribing to goes either live or puts up a video, whatever the case may be. You get an announcement to let you know that that's happening. Since we are not able to really lean on that as a possibility of working all the time, we have put together our own. Now, before you panic, we're not selling off your name. We're not spamming you with anything. This will literally be just used for notifications and any huge announcements. For instance, I break my ankle and I'm not going live, or I get injured and I'm going to be taking time off. There may be situations where I'm not going to be able to get in front of the camera and say, hey, this is just what happened. During those situations, you might get an email from from the lifeboat via that platform that says, hey, here's what happened to the captain or whatever. But really, the only thing that we need this for is to make sure that you don't have to rely on YouTube's bell because it doesn't seem to be working. So again, that address is our own bell, right? Our own bell at gmail.com. Oh, Lady Fiona Crispin, I'm glad that you made it. Welcome to the lifeboat. I'm not sure whether or not you got the notification or whether or not you didn't, but I'm hearing this all the time, everybody. It really is becoming an issue. I heard from, who was it? I think it was Raven, and then I think it might have been Seventh Son that said yes, the same thing happened to me, where they got the notification of the boat going live, but they got it about 24 hours after the actual video was posted. So they went to look and thought, this isn't a new video. It's once you hit that little bell, it's out of our hands. There's not much that myself or Mark can do to ensure that they're actually doing the job of making sure that you get notifications. However, if you go to our own bell, just send something that says add me to the list. People, if you've sent me an email before, do not assume that means that you're good to go, because I'm not going to send out notifications to anyone who didn't specifically say to me, send out notifications. There's not much more frustrating in the world than a situation where you start getting anything unsolicited, and we're definitely not going to be that group. Is it wrong that I acted like one of my old user friends was invisible when I saw him in public? Or see him made my heart rate jump? You know what, Mike? No, there is nothing wrong with that at all. There isn't. People, this is a great question. It really is. I'm so glad that Mike asked this. This is an absolutely great question, because this is something that is going to affect everyone who is fighting the good fight. If you've been someone that has been addicted to drugs, and you hung out with a certain group of people, when you see that person, you see anybody from that group, human nature, right? The fact that you're a good person, the fact that mom and dad raised you right, or whatever you want to use as the exact verbiage for why. We know that the right thing to do, even if I'm not using it anymore, the right thing to do is say, hey, how you doing? I hope you're doing all right. I hope you're doing. No, I'm sorry, it's not. Now, if you're not a drug addict, or if you've got enough sobriety under your belt that you really feel confident that you can say, he says, Mr. Rip Curl says, no, it isn't. You know something? You absolutely have every right to disagree with me, my friend. But as I was finishing, as you get more sobriety and you get more solid, we absolutely would love to get to a point where not only would you say hi to this individual, but maybe even can reach out to them and try to help them. But as the phrase we use very often is, just like when you're in an airplane and they talk about the mask falling from the ceiling giving you oxygen, they tell you to put that mask on yourself before you put it on a child or anyone else who can't assist themselves. And the reason being, You don't want to die in the process. If you're struggling trying to help the next person and you haven't taken care of yourself. People, when you first quit, when you first get into sobriety, there is a voice in your head. And it doesn't mean, when I say voice, people, it doesn't need to be audible. You understand? I'm not talking about, like literally a voice calling to you. What I'm talking about is that silent scream that demands that you use. And it is looking, if you think of this as a small entity in there, it's literally looking for any crack anywhere in the facade that it can work on. It's looking for anything that it can use as the trigger that is going to take you back to what it wants you to do. And that calling inside wants one simple thing and one simple thing only. It wants you back on dope. Plain and simple, that is what it is trying to do. And until we can rewire our brains for that to stop happening, I would absolutely recommend that you walk past. Really. Especially if the person hasn't seen you or anything else. It is not your responsibility to be polite if being polite is going to put you at risk for relapse. And as Mike asked this question, he said, just seeing the person made my heart race. Do you know why it made your heart race? Because you knew the danger of what seeing this person would do to you. And I think that that's a great indicator as to the answer to your question. Would it be right to go up and talk to someone if instantly your heart starts to race just by seeing that person? Because he says, no, I was agreeing with you. I'm sorry, Rip Curl. You know what? It goes by so fast. I apologize if you were agreeing with me. They go by so quickly, man. And I do this on a 2-screen. I could probably do this beautifully, Rip Curl, if I did this. But you guys would really get sick and tired of seeing just my neck. You know what I mean? I don't think anybody here wants to just stare at my neck for the next hour. But I apologize, my friend. I really do. I'm horrible at this. I really am. Like, this is, I have said before that I am bad at YouTube. I really am. I've spent a decent amount of time researching the subject matter, both as an addict and then as somebody that doesn't want to ever be an addict again. But the nuts and bolts stuff of what I'm doing, I am really awful at. So I beg your apology. I really do. I was not trying to. I probably read the first 3/4 of it. If you ask Saigon Cinnamon, I think I just saw him come in here. Saigon likes to point out to me quite often, maybe every second or every third live feed, he will say to me, you don't ever read my entire message. It's the speed at which these scroll by. I try to get as much of it in there as I can, but I apologize. So apparently he was agreeing with me. Folks, and Mike in particular, Mike, your number one responsibility in rehabilitation, right, in rehabbing yourself, your number one responsibility is to you. That is it. Now, as you get further along, you're going to see that person or you're going to see another person and you're not going to feel your heart start racing. It really might be... Actually, Tommy, it might be better in profile. You know what? There could be some truth to that. About we do this type of thing. Yeah, this is what it is. There's not much to work with, Seventh Son. I mean, that really is kind of the nature of the beast in that, you know what I mean? I'm not I won't be winning any beauty contests. However, yeah, I really, Mike, I appreciate that question because it's something that comes up a lot. There are many situations where you're going to have to overcome what you know is you're overcoming what is so ingrained in us. Of course, right? In normal society and in normal life, you would never walk by a friend and act as if you don't see him. It's rude. It's awful. But that's not, we're not normal life. The train left the tracks, right? The reason that you're here, the reason that we're all talking is he says, but also, let me see if I can catch this one before it leaves. But also respect the privacy of people who are in recovery and let them choose what is okay for them. I am always there for anyone who needs to share or talk. I have been blessed in getting off meds. Excellent comment. And you know something? That reminds me of a story. This is a, yeah. As everyone knows, I have been to prison, and an odd thing happened. There was there was a guy in prison who was choosing to live basically a trans life in prison. So this man had taken he had taken his name and used a female form of it, right? So, and I'm not going to say the person's name just on the outside chance that that they would ever, come across the channel. It's not something that I want to do. But the, he was very, very flamboyantly, living a gay lifestyle in prison, and we were in a recovery group together inside. And he just was as feminine as he could possibly be. That was his demeanor. That was just how he was living, or she, I guess, would be the proper pronoun. But fast forward, and we're all out of prison, and I was going into a Walmart, and I knew this guy's male name because I ran the drug therapy group. So I had the list, and it had the person's real name, and then it had the the name that or he had his birth name, and then she had the name that she was living under. But he used to talk all the time in group about his grandmother, and his grandmother was the one who raised him. Well, as I'm walking into Walmart, he's with his grandmother, and he is no longer in the personality of the female. He was very much in the personality of the man, and the look of panic on his face when he saw me broke my heart, because I thought to myself, this is something that he was just so afraid that I was going to go up and say something stupid, that I was going to go up and say something that was going to hurt him or anything with his grandmother. And we made eye contact for a split second, and I just gave him the there's no chance. Like, I'm not going to, first of all, I would like to believe that I'm not cruel, but I would also like to believe that I've got enough on the ball where I can read a situation. But you're going to come across this in rehab, people, all the time, and you come across it an awful lot more in hold on one second. Okay, you're going to come across situations, especially if you're going into to 12-step programs on the street, because the odds of us running into each other on the lifeboat, the people that you meet here, are going to be obviously more rare than it would be if you were in a brick and mortar kind of a situation. But yeah, I think that what Rip Curl said is really, really important, to respect the anonymity, and to give people that opportunity. The nice thing about what we do here is that number one, you really can be yourself here. A lot of times on social media, you have to be concerned about people being cruel. If you have listened to some of the goodbye letters, or if you have read some of the comments, I mean, there have been people who have come here and talked about the things that they were using drugs to avoid. And there have been people who have talked about being molested for years as children, and that drugs were something that took away the pain from that, and was, people, there's no way you can have that kind of openness and that kind of sharing, which is just so important for the possibility of people healing. It really is, super important for that to be the case. But I'm never going to allow people. The rules are there for a reason, and the most important rule to me, honestly, is the mean people rule. You can disagree with me all day long. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing with people. There really isn't, and we can even discuss it. It's just that if it starts to slide into name calling or anything like that, then that becomes an issue. Now, if you want to start, being cruel to other crew members, there's no room at all. I will take a little bit of abuse, because this is the nature of what we do. If you choose to put yourself out on YouTube, did I just see? I did. Chi-Chi, I'm so happy that you're on the boat. Chi-Chi is fantastic. Just such a nice person, just a beautiful soul. Chi-Chi, I'm so happy you're here. But yeah, if that vitriol comes at me, I have signed up to be a YouTuber for better or for worse, to run this the way that I want to run it, and to make things happen. With my dream, I have to be a YouTuber. And honestly, there are times that that's taxing. And I don't mean doing the videos and all that. I just mean the baggage that comes along with that can be very difficult. However, because of that, you're going to take a little bit of abuse. It is what it is, and you have to deal with that. And I'm learning that more on a daily basis, and you just have to do it. However, nobody on this boat signed up for anything like that. And people who abuse anybody in the, anybody who's crew members, we're not going to see you again. It's just that simple. I think that really it is my job more than anything is to protect the people who are opening up. I mean, what really is making people successful with getting sober on this channel, and we have testimonials here that from people that really are doing well, people that are really reaching the goals that they have set out to do. I think of Joe, getting that 1 week under his belt, and it's just, for someone who went 17 years using methamphetamine every day and has never even tried, has never even, taken any time whatsoever off, just never even considered it. For someone like that to have accidentally come across the lifeboat and is now, 7 days without, that is just such an awesome thing. It really is. That is so heartwarming. But he has opened up incredibly to everybody on the boat. It is the interaction. It is it's that feeling of safety that allows people to come and say exactly what's on their mind and to be brutally honest. And I think that that's one of the defining characteristic of the boat. Billy, truth be told, hello Billy, welcome to the lifeboat. It really is what is the driving force here. But we're going to make sure that we protect that. That really is our number one goal. If you're just getting on the boat and you did not get notification from YouTube, what I want you to do is you can send an email that just says, put me on the list, because we have our own bell for notification that we are setting up so that we do not have to rely solely on YouTube to let you know when a video or a live feed goes up. So that is our own bell at gmail.com. Our own bell at gmail.com. Just shoot out an email that says, put me on the list. That's all it has to be, is that you shoot out an email that says, put me on the list. I will make sure that you do get put on the list, and we will get a blast out to you every time a video or every time a live feed goes up. And in doing it that way, the odds are far greater that you're not going to miss any videos or any live feeds, because we're getting a lot of complaints from people who say that in spite of the fact that they hit the bell and they hit all for notifications, that they're not getting all. Now, if you're going to just stick with the bell through YouTube, could I should have made a video. If you're going to stick with YouTube's notification, go back and check that you actually hit all, because it is not always the first choice that's going to pop up, but you want to hit all, because if you don't, then there are certain videos or live feeds that you're not going to get, a blast telling you that we're going live. So the best thing to do is to go and check back and make sure that, to make sure that you've got all hitting on the, hitting, that you had hit all on the notification, because if you don't, you're not going to get all of the notifications, just plain and simple. People, I was made some announcements earlier when I first got on, but we got a lot of new people that are here. We really wanted to sort of bring you up to speed. We have had a really good week in terms of the growth of the boat. Derek N., good to see you, brother. I'm glad that you're here. I just sent an email to you, Derek, so be looking in your inbox. People, we've had a good week in terms of the size of the crew growing. We have had a lot of people that are coming on board, and we're really starting to hit a pretty good growth spurt. We have a lot of new members that are coming on every day, and the reason that is you. The goodbye letters that you are writing are a recruiting tool for what we do on the lifeboat. It is, you can honestly track it to the very day that we started doing these. You know, if you run a channel and you run it for a period of time, you're going to see sort of highs and lows in terms of people coming on board. And um, I gotta have more Bell, baby. Saigon Cinnamon, you are fantastic. Yes, you could use a little bit more, a little bit more ship's Bell. What I need now, I got a fever, and the only cure is the ship's Bell. That's very clever, Saigon. That really is funny stuff. But you see sort of an ebb and flow, and you have periods of time where you have many people coming in, and you have periods of time where you sort of slow down, and you're not seeing as many subscribers coming on board, and that some of that is time of year, everything else. But sometimes it is really sort of easy to figure out what's going on. And right now, what is going on is that these goodbye letters are being tracked, and they're being shared. So we're getting the message outside of YouTube. You know, people are sharing these on Facebook, and they're sharing them on Instagram or other places. And in doing so, we're seeing the reach of the boat grow because of that. And that's just a beautiful thing. Stacy Michaels, good to see you. Full of hope. Excellent to see you. So many people. We're seeing so many new names that are coming on the boat. Really, please make sure that you take the time. If you see a new name in the comment section, please. I can't be there all the time. I know that there's some of you that are just super faithful about this, but just in case, Charlie or Chi-Chi or any of the people that do this, Fiona, any of the people that do this, Deja, any of the people that do this all of the time, if you happen to see a name you haven't seen before, please welcome them to the boat. And if 7 people have already welcomed them to the boat, then of course, be the 8th, right? What we want these people to know, what we want everyone to know is the truth. And the truth is, you're not going to find support anywhere in social media like you are going to find on the lifeboat. So our goal, right, from the word go has always been to be that support family, so that when times get tough and people need to come and ask questions, that they feel comfortable doing that, and that, just as importantly, that they know who they're doing that with. So the interaction, people, there's a reason that we do the number of live feeds that we do. I'm not going to lie to you. If any of you have a YouTube channel and you've done live feeds are really a whole lot more stressful than than making a video. If you make a video and you don't feel like you did a pretty good job, you can reach up and hit the button and you can do it again. When you do live feeds, you're working without a net, and you're working without a net live. So if you say something stupid, or you just don't sound like you really are having a good day, well, you're stuck with it, aren't you? So you got to wonder why we do the number of live feeds that we do, because you really open yourself up, But the reason that we do this, people, is because the comment section here at the Lifeboat has always been a little different than the comment section on other channels. Especially in the beginning, you would see a video that had 80 views and 160 comments, or a video that had 150 views and 400 comments. That's really bizarre. And the reason is there's so much interaction back and forth between the crew members. They're all starting to talk, and it was not me, because I don't do YouTube very well. It was actually Mark Wages who said, thank you for the roll top compliment. This is one of my favorite things in the entire world, my roll top desk. But it was Mark Wages that said to me, if you go live, the crew members are going to get a chance to treat the comment section very much like a chat room, and it's going to give them an opportunity to really get to know one another. Then from there, we've got on Facebook. Now, before you roll your eyes and talk about how much you dislike Facebook, I'm not a fan of Facebook either. But it's a great, the software and how Facebook is set up is really ideal to have another safe harbor away from this. And it's a safe harbor that allows for self-expression. You can go over there and, put up pictures of things that are important to you, or pictures of your family. It's a really nice setup, but it all really starts with getting to know one another, and the live feeds are perfect for that. Chi-Chi says, I think it's just incredible how many people have already written their letters and said goodbye to their demons. You know what, Chi-Chi? I could not agree with you more. It has been absolutely awesome. 1 second here. Full of Hope says, can you write one if it's from years ago? Although I don't count days, as every day is another first day for me. Saying I'm years sober is inviting complacency. I've heard that line of thought before. Yeah, you absolutely can write a goodbye letter. We've had some from people who have written goodbye letters. Saigon Cinnamon's jumps to mind, where he was, hey, it's been this long, right? And he's sort of catching up the drug of choice on exactly how well he's been doing without that drug of choice in his life. So we're really open to, to how you do it. And we'd be more than happy to, if you're comfortable, we'd be more than happy to have that up on the air. But the reason that we encourage people to write those, they're awesome as a way for the crew to get to know one another. But the people who have written them have said just how powerful it was for them to do it, to put an exclamation point and that official, hey, you're gone, you're not in my life anymore kind of thing, has really, really been cathartic for so many people. So, but yeah, you absolutely can do that. It doesn't have to be a situation where you quit a couple of days ago by any stretch. Saigon says, Tommy, did you ever find out how to put tags on videos? Because when someone looks up the lifeboat, it's all boat channels. Yes, in fact, I have. Mark and I were just talking about this. You probably will start seeing that officially tomorrow. We did some research. One of the reasons that I didn't do it prior to that is because when we filed with our new partner comes in and takes a look at the channel and everything you do. And if you read all of the small print on everything, how you hashtag certain things could be an issue. So we kind of held off and gave them enough time to where they came and started to look at the channel. You get a letter from them that says, you hit 4,000 hours and you've got, over 1,000 subscribers or whatever the requirements. And they say, in the next little bit, we're going to be looking over your channel. We're going to look at the last X number of videos. We're going to look at the most popular videos. We're going to look at, and they tell you all the different things. And you want to make sure basically that you've done everything right. Now, the things that will really kill you are things like a copyright problem or anything like that. We've never had a strike. We've never violated any community guidelines. And if we have, it's certainly one that I was not aware of. But we held off on that. You will be seeing it very, very shortly. Great question, Saigon. And had you not brought it up in the first place, we never would have talked about it or tried to move on it in any way. So I really, really appreciate that. That was huge. 1 second, people. So again, I'm seeing some emails come in now for people that are wanting to be added for our notification system, our own bell. Fantastic. Keep them coming. If you want to be on that list, people, please make sure that you do that. Billy, truth be told, wanted a little bit of provenance on the roll top desk. Well, here's the thing with the roll top desk. There is an excellent story attached to the roll top desk. So the story is this. This roll top desk was in a barn in New England. And this was a very, very long time ago. Before my time on this planet, my family had moved to the Northeast. They had left New York and moved to Vermont. And my mother had seen a roll top desk at someone's home. And it was she just said, oh, that is so beautiful. And she had asked a couple of people if they knew where one might be located. Someone said there's one in a barn and it's for sale, but it's very expensive. So, my mom went down to look at the barn. Keep in mind, this was the mid to late 60s. So she went down to look at this roll top desk in the barn, and indeed it was expensive with the chair and everything else. It was $50, but in those days that was a fairly sizable amount of money. I mean, it wasn't, obviously it was a steal, but it was not obviously what $50 is today. I'm sure in you know, that in today's market that would have been closer to hundreds and hundreds of dollars, but she bought it then, and it has been in the family since the mid '60s. And as my, you know, parents began to age, this was the thing that I wanted, you know, more than anything. So as we have a family that gets along really well, and as everybody sort of asked, you know, there were things that houses were getting smaller and being consolidated, so they asked for one thing or another, and I made it very clear from the word go that I was madly in love with this desk. This is, and it is still absolutely, oh, I got it locked right now, but it is absolutely functional. This does roll down and close up, and it is all original, even the backing on it. There's never been any kind of a repair done. Still has the key so that you can lock it. It is just absolutely a great desk, and you know, the drawers and everything else. It's definitely one of my prized possessions, and it's funny because I didn't intend to shoot all of the videos here. That was not a plan. I shot the very first video that I did when I announced that I'd be launching a channel, and I did it sitting here, and the desk was a bigger hit than I was. The number of people that chimed in and said. Chi-Chi says it makes like a creaky boat. Yeah, did you and your sister talked about that, didn't you? I hear that from Lady Fiona all the time. People, I was about to buy a really nice, quiet, silent chair for the captain's desk, so that you people don't have to listen to this go. I can't bring myself to do it. Maybe I will lock this out so that it doesn't make noise, but this is not like an old chair that we bought. This whole thing was a one piece. I'm sitting on a 50, 60-year-old chair as well, and the springs under it are this big and somewhat rusted. I honestly have put in so much effort to oiling this and WD-40ing it and tightening everything that could be tightened, and it's just if you knew the effort that I put to not move. And now that I've pointed it out, it's going to drive all of you even more crazy, but it really is. Lady Fiona Crispin manages to direct message me, oh, I don't know, once or twice a week to let me know how much she loves the sound of the squeaking desk. And Chi-Chi says, not me, it makes me giggle. See that, Fiona? Huh? See that? Okay. Good. So that, people, is the history of the roll top desk, and truthfully, one of my two prized possessions on this planet. One of my three prized possessions on this planet. There are very few things that I really sort of have gotten attached to over the years, but this desk is absolutely one of them. This is just yeah, I love this desk. I can't even begin to tell you. My collection of Alice in Wonderland stuff, that whole collection, also a real prized possession. I have more Alice in Wonderland stuff than anyone you would ever want to meet, which I realize is somewhat bizarre, but I got very attached to the story at a very I would say at a very young age, but it was more into the teenagers. Full of Hope says, midnight guys, I got to keep my sleep schedule. The routine in the basics was always an important part of my sobriety. I am hungry. I am thirsty. I have enough to eat. Keep it simple, stupid. Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Chi-Chi says, I love Alice in Wonderland. Of course you do, Chi-Chi. You have great taste. But I got really addicted to the... she says, I have the Cheshire Cat face on my thigh and the Mad Hatter on my sleeve. Chi-Chi, have you ever gotten a look at the sleeve I have on my left arm? It is all Alice in Wonderland. My whole You people probably see it stick out underneath my my t-shirt when I film, but that my whole arm is all Alice in Wonderland stuff. I have the Mad Hatter, I have the Cheshire Cat, I have the White Rabbit, and I have the Dormouse as well. And I don't know if you know this, but 2 days ago was National Mad Hatter Day. Yep, 2 days ago was National Mad Hatter Day. Beeswax will quiet that chair. Mix well with lemon oil and coat. Is that true? How about that? You say beeswax. I'm writing this down, Bill, truth be told. So I mix beeswax with lemon oil and just coat it. So even, I hate to take this way off subject, people, but so I've got the springs and everything else underneath there. Just coat the springs, coat the whole thing with beeswax and lemon oil. Is that correct? Okay. Billy, truth be told. Did I say that wrong? I hope I didn't. Billy, truth be told. So, okay, I'm going to give this a try, Billy. I am absolutely going to try that. And I'm hoping that that is the magic bullet, so I don't have to keep having Lady Crispin yell at me. Oh, the wood joints. Okay, will do. Some of what you're hearing isn't the wood, it's the springs, but I can work on the springs with more stuff. I'm going to do this. I promise you, Billy. I promise you that. See, people, learn something new every day, and it is the nature of the lifeboat. I'm a firm believer that we can all learn from one another. It's one of the reasons that that this works so well. There are so many people here that have so much life experience. You know, as we start looking toward trying to get sober, think of how many people here have experienced addiction, recovery, relapse, all of it. You never know what that one nugget, what that one magic bullet is going to be. You're going to hear that one thing that either inspires you to go. You know, when Andrew Eats told he watched one of the first shows that I ever did here on the lifeboat, and I can assure you it probably wasn't so much something I said as it was the fact that, you know, because of the Pepper community and who I was, he came and checked it out. But he went and told his LB Loxley, good to see you, brother. I'm glad that you made it on. He went and told his wife, hey, I'm going to quit. And he said she laughed at him because there had been so many attempts in the past. But this time it worked. You know, relapse is a very large part of recovery, and you never know what the magic bullet is going to be. You never know exactly what you're going to hear at the right time that is going to be that catalyst that just, you know, drives you and makes you, you know, fight the good fight a little bit harder. Yeah, LB, it is so good to see you here. Very, very happy. Yeah, you know what? I can't wait to try the beeswax thing. So, Space Jeezel, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a minute. Glad that you're here. People, if you were not on last night's live feed, then you may not have heard the announcement that I've got a new job. I will be starting on Tuesday. So that is going to Arizona Raven. You'll be put on the list. All right. I will be starting a new job on Tuesday, people. That new job is going to be a much better situation than was the last one. We, you know, truth be told, it was one of those jobs that I couldn't do that and this. I couldn't. The combination of the two was impossible. And you know, there are times in life where you have to get your priorities in order. And just being really honest, if it comes down to getting my priorities in order, this is my priority. And that's great for everybody here. It's not so great if you are my boss. One of the important things I learned was to stop thinking that others weren't like me, or this place isn't for me or like me. Truth is, we are all just alike with different stories that make us unique. Boy, oh boy. Yeah, you want to talk about, I mean, really solid insight. And I think this is something that plagues an awful lot of people in recovery. I know it did me probably more than the next guy. I remember very, very distinctly trying to go through, I shouldn't say trying to get sober because I didn't want to get sober at all, but trying to get through a rehabilitation program in federal prison. And while I was incarcerated, I was forced to go to this program, and I was still using, so I didn't want to be there. But my first thought when I walked through the door was, I'm like nobody in this room. I was so convinced that I was so much different than every single person, there. I really sort of came to the misconception that I was different. And I think you nailed it. We really, the stories may be different, but the fact that, hey, Georgie girl, good to see you, girl. Sorry, everybody. Apparently the door is open and Georgie just came in. All right, come on, Georgie. This is it's my guest dog that is hanging out with me for the weekend. Good to see you, girl. So yeah, I came to the belief that I don't want to say that I was better, but I was just really different. The stories of the people in, how I ended up in prison was, really late in life, and very often the people that I was in there and the people that I was, in the groups with were people that in many cases had been, lifelong inmates. They had been in and out of prison from the time they were, in many cases, even, prior to being adults. They started out going to like preps. What do they call those things? The juvenile detention centers and things like that. And from there, made their way up to, careful girl, made their way up to prison. And I really started to think, man, I am not like any of these people. But you nailed it. As you start really figuring out, what the things that we have in common are far more consistent than the things that we have that make us different. And with addiction, one of the things that we've said before is that there's no prejudice. It doesn't care what color you are. It doesn't care what age you are. It is absolutely ready at all times to enslave anybody. And it's one of those situations that, the more you realize that you are just like everybody else, when you realize that you are truthfully all in the same boat, then that process is going to start working. The healing process and the ability to start getting sober is going to to work a whole lot better. That's a great comment. It really is. I really appreciate that. Chi-Chi says, anyone else freezing? Chi-Chi, I don't know if I said this on the live feed the other day or whether or not it was on one of the videos, but I had to go take a drug test the other morning. It's, part of the terms of my probation. And when I leave the house, I've got to drive toward two mountains. One is called Mount Rose and the other is Peavine. And when I came out of the garage and turned onto the main street, there was Peavine just covered in snow. And this time of year, it snows at altitude. It doesn't snow down here, but it was such a shocker to take that turn and see snow. Not only because it's really early in the year, but also because I had spent a lot of the federal sentence in warm climates, and then on top of that, I was sent to the halfway house. Then when I was out of prison and sent to the halfway house, I was sent in California. And that is, obviously it was where I was in California. We weren't getting any snow, so it was, but it was beautiful. It was fantastic to see a snow-covered mountain again. I'm a huge fan of wintertime. Having spent as much time as I have in life as a skier, it was a very big deal for me to, I think she meant the stream freezing. Oh, Chi-Chi says, I can't wait for snow. Yeah, it's coming, Chi-Chi. I promise you it's coming, and it's coming soon. James Patrick. Great to see you on a live feed, James. This is probably a little easier a time of day for you than we normally do. James was one of the first people to really sort of beat the drum to try to get me to, to make sure that we got one of these put up at a time where, everyone else had the opportunity to get on. I'm happy that I have. It's really wanted to give people an opportunity to come on here. The more that you catch these live feeds, the more you're going to realize that it has considerably less to do with me and the things that I'm talking about as it does giving you an opportunity to hang out in the comment section and treat it very much like a chat room. People really get a chance to know one another, and if you just pop in here and quietly read the comment section, you'll get a really good idea of just how close the crew members have become on this boat. Everybody really does support one another. What comes to mind, if you haven't seen the last two live feeds, there were a couple of gentlemen that really opened up. Ryan has been super open about where he is at. Ryan's drug of choice is alcohol, and he's been drinking every day for a long period of time. He's a young man, but he's been drinking for years, every single day. And he shared on the live feed that he's getting ready to go into a medical assisted detox. And I tell you what, first of all, we're proud of you, Ryan. We really are. It's a great thing to step up to the plate and say I'm done. That is a huge thing. And to share that you were concerned about it. It was awesome, people, to watch everybody sort of come to the rescue. There are so many of us that have been through some form of doctor-assisted detox that we were able to kill any of the myths associated with it. To basically take care of that. Let me see what I got here, people. Every once in a while, see one that catches my eye here. So let me do this. If you knew how bad I am at technology, it is absolutely astounding. What does the captain's hat cap order at Starbucks? Really? You have got a you've got a whole series of dad jokes based on hats, Saigon. How do you know you're a dad, right? You're a father when you start busting out with the dad jokes. Hey, that's awesome. It really is. Saigon, you are a never-ending font of fun. And I am really lucky that you were on this boat. So is everyone else. He's just really a great guy. By the way, people, a couple of things that I want to make sure that we touch on. We're coming up on the hour and a half mark of the live feed. Not exactly sure how long we will go. I do have some family coming over again for dinner. Different family. It's gonna be a nephew today. But there's a couple of things I wanted to say. We still want to maintain some prayers for Brittany's mom and for Brittany as well. I want to make sure that we keep them in our prayers. And people, be on the lookout for those that we know from the live feed who are who are struggling. We want to keep those individuals in our prayers as well. We're all in this together. We're all in the same boat. But please, for Brittany's mom, let's keep her and her daughter in our prayers. They have reached out and asked that I do that. So let's make sure that we do. People, this has been awesome to see so many different names and faces in the comment section. Our live feeds tend to be a very similar group of people. It's fantastic to see all of these new names and faces. It's so cool to see the channel growing at the rate it's growing, which makes me want to celebrate with candy corn. It's so fantastic to see the channel growing at the rate it's growing. We have been really blessed in the last week, and all of that is you. My hat is off to all of the people that took the time to write goodbye letters. Chi-Chi is leaving. Chi-Chi, thank you so much for popping on. Really means a lot to me, Chi-Chi, and I know it means a lot to everyone else. As you know, people, Chi-Chi is not just a crew member on this boat. Chi-Chi is our default setting. When in doubt, right? when in doubt, just treat them the way Chi Chi would, and chances are you're doing it right. And I think that that's a huge thing. Bradley Smith, excellent to see you. So happy you got a chance to get on. And Fee Crispin says that she's missing you already, Chi Chi. Everybody, we got about 15 minutes left, people. At which point I'm going to have to, we're going to have to cut this off in about 15 more minutes. So I always like to give you a bit of a head start so that you can start saying your goodbyes to all of your close friends. But there's some things that I wanted to go over as well. I'm glad that I thought about this. People, because we are not like, we're not like other channels in many, many ways. There are times that you'll get sort of, the inside baseball, sort of behind the scenes kind of a thing that are going on. As I have shared with people in the past, I don't like looking at all of the analytics, because truthfully, for the most part, until you've been going long enough, it's going to lead you down the wrong path. You'll think, oh, well, these numbers aren't good because I'm doing something wrong, or these numbers are really good because I just did something right. This small a chunk of data is not really enough to go on in terms of trying to determine whether or not you should be making all kinds of changes. Saigon Cinnamon, go make dinner. You got a boy to take care of, right? And we're still praying for your dog as well, people. Saigon's dog could use our prayers as well. Saigon, you are one of the best. I absolutely love you. I'm so glad that you are here. Seriously, great guy. People, if you haven't gotten a chance to know him yet, please do. He's just an excellent guy. We're all super blessed that he's on this boat. He is just such a nice person, and he is. I can't say enough nice things about him. And never quit quitting, right? It's not just a motto. It's a motto that he brought us, and he's top shelf. He really is. Could not be any happier that he is a crew member on this boat. But as I was saying, with the analytics, it doesn't pay off. I finally have brothers and sisters that I like and love. Well, you're loved too, Saigon. I'm telling you, you're top shelf. This corn's for you, Saigon. So, the analytics. Oh, Billy, truth be told, says, seems that people that possess high functional minds almost always struggle with addiction. You know something? Number one, that is astute. And number two, there are studies that suggest exactly that. There are studies that show that very oftentimes people with certain traits that are almost always linked in one way or another to intelligence, high IQs, some other things, almost always struggle with some form of addiction. Absolutely true. It really is. As far as the analytics go, people, I don't dwell on them. In fact, I don't read them because I don't want to get off target. But every time I hit a milestone, I will go in and glance at certain things. And the milestone that we had just gotten past the second month as a show. So I was in the back office and I was looking at things. And people, there was some stuff that jumped off the page as being really, really exciting. The length of time that people spend watching videos here on the lifeboat is considerably larger than normal, right? When you take what is considered the normal amount of time that people stick around for videos, we here on the lifeboat get way longer than that, which is exciting. Also, the ratio of male to female is every single week is getting closer to to being an even split, which is unheard of, especially with with the subject matter. I went and looked at some other channels that are trying to do similar things, and you cannot find a female in the comments section. I think that a lot of this has to do with Wages World. I really believe that there were so many women that came over originally from Wages World, and then what has happened is word of mouth They have started to invite friends, and chances are they're going to be inviting, other women. And we just have been growing phenomenally on in that demographic, and I could not be any happier about that. Believe it or not, I see the boxers versus brief argument again. It comes up so often that I can't explain it. Everybody seems to be quite curious concerning yeah, the boxer brief thing. And as I have said in the past, I shan't answer that. So the some of the other things, this boat really rocks, and I mean that in a good way. LB, thank you, my friend. LB Loxley, if you've been on the boat a long time, people, LB was somebody that left a comment and was talking about addiction. This is what seems like 5 years ago, but it must have been a month, about halfway through the life of the show. He left a comment that he views the addict, the situation in terms of when someone is addicted, he views the addiction like a dictator. You don't hate a country just because it has a bad dictator. And I cannot begin to tell you what that comment did for everything that I do, honestly, because it is such a great way to put it. It is such a spot on, just hit it out of the park description. You would never want to, hate a country, hate all of the people of that country because they had a bad dictator at the helm. When drugs and alcohol take over your life, they dictate every single aspect of what it is that you do. And it is just such a great way to view this. I've never forgot that, LB. It was something that really, really, I don't know, it affected me. And I think I said at the time that if you spend 6 or 7 years doing nothing but reading different books and different things about addiction, like that became a very large part of everything that I did when I was incarcerated. The only time I was reading about something that wasn't directly related to drugs or alcohol, it was because I exhausted all of the literature there, and at which point I would delve into self-help books or any number of things about relationships, about communication, always though toward the same goal. And I never have come across anything that is a better illustration. I've never come across anything that is a better analogy for why you just should not hate the drug addict. It's tragic. It's almost a sin. You're hating somebody because there's a dictator at the helm. It's just like hating the country. It's such a great comment, and I think I made a big deal about it at the time. I'm not sure at the time we were doing the lifeboat participation trophy. So if not, thank you, Arizona Raven. Thank you. I see a 21 anchor salute. And Mr. LB Loxley, you absolutely deserve not only the participation trophy, but you also should have the 21 anchor salute as well. Tommy, you have a way with people. We all enjoy listening to your advice and what you have to say. I believe we all feel like you can relate to us and what we are going through in life. You know what, James? That is a really, really nice thing to say. However, you know the rules. If you were going to say something that nice, you have to start with, "You're lucky I'm here." Anytime you say something that nice, you have to preface it with, "Tommy, you're lucky I'm here." Then you can say anything as nice as you want. But when it's that nice, I don't want to lose sight of the fact that I am a lucky guy that you're watching me. I mean, you may, you say that I'm easy to relate to, or how did you say it? I have a way with people, right? And that very well may be the case. But I'm lucky that you're here. I could be talking to Georgie there on the floor. The fact that people have come to the lifeboat and have stuck around to listen to what I have to say is a blessing. It really is. There are some great people on YouTube out there that there's just simply nobody listening to. I mean, they do good stuff, but you really just in the beginning you need some luck. You need some people that are going to stick around. I had a great boost from my brother's channel, and there were a lot of people from the Pepper community that came over and started watching when the channel first went up. The truth of the matter is, the great majority of people from the Pepper community did not stick around. And I mean, for logical reasons, I'm not a Pepper channel, and they had expected me to be one. You know, when I had been announcing for months that there was going to be a channel, everybody and their brother assumed that that there was going to be another, you know, another of the Pepper channels from you know, Johnny's little brother. And when it became apparent that what I was doing was a sobriety channel, I lost the majority of those people. No, I'm not unhappy about it. There's no hard feelings. It makes perfect sense. You go and you look at what you want. Um, uh-oh. Liv once says, Fee, I'm choking this morning. What are you choking on, my friend? But you know, I really was kind of blessed that that some people came over, but you have to then what's going on in here? Let me clear my earwax out. All right. Anyway, but yeah, I'm lucky that you're watching. I mean, truthfully and honestly, I feel really blessed that that all of you people are here. People, we are coming up to. You got about 4 minutes left to say your goodbyes, people. I am to that part of the show where we've been on for an hour and a half, and logical reason. You know what? That question had just been kicked off. I mean, had just been deleted. Heat My Shorts is not kicked off this channel. Go and ask him. He's not kicked off this channel. Another person that just wants to have fun, but go ask him. He's not kicked off this channel, people. And more drama that people want to create that doesn't exist. Heat My Shorts isn't kicked off this. In fact, he has been told, I don't know how many times, he's got a stateroom here with his name on it. The last thing each of us said to each other was, I love you. But whatever, have a good time doing what you're doing. So people, for the wrenched, that's my girl, for the remainder of the day, normally people, 5 o'clock, we do our video. There will not be a 5 o'clock video today. On the weekends, we don't do the goodbye letter stuff. That was Monday through Friday. So there will not be a 5 o'clock video going up, which would be what, half an hour. There will not be a 5 o'clock video going up. For the normal crew, we would be heading on to our normal live feed at 9 o'clock Pacific time. That's when we all get together and do our normal one. The reason we did this today at 3 was because we wanted to make sure that we gave an opportunity for everybody on the other side of the country and for people in other countries to have an opportunity to get on here and to meet the crew and to hang out. So we wanted to make sure we did that. However, there may be, where can you find the usual routine? The usual routine is videos are posted at 8 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock at night. That's Monday through Friday and usually Saturday and Sunday. I'm going to start changing that on the weekends so that I can do a 3 o'clock live like we're doing right now, because I do want to give everybody on the East Coast and in other countries an opportunity to come on here. That is important to me. So we will be doing that on the weekends now, at least on Saturday for sure. Because of that, I won't be putting up a 5 o'clock video today. Saturdays won't have a 5 o'clock video. Also, if you go over to Facebook, you can go to the, yes, I am cranking out a lot of content. We definitely are. You can, and then usually at 9 o'clock at night, I do the live feed. So we do a 8 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock at night, and a live feed at 9. So I've been doing like 3 a day. And, you know, we've had a few 3-hour live feeds. There has been some, you know, some pretty epic days worth of production going up. But if you have any questions, you can go over to Facebook to the Lifeboat Show. That is a group on Facebook. Just go over there and put in a request. I'll accept you. And then any questions you have, there's always somebody there ready to answer them. If I'm not there, someone else will be. But you go to Facebook and you go to the Lifeboat Live. In fact, it's in the little Dropbox here on the channel, so you can get it right there. The link is already put up. It is a huge family and it is growing. Thank you, Captain, and please put me on the bell list. Absolutely, I will, Beth. I am so happy that you're here. Deja, appreciate you. All of these people, everybody who got on today, really, really appreciate you doing so. I cannot say for sure if there's going to be a 9 o'clock tonight, people. But you know what? Just stop by. If we're up and we're live, then we're there. If we're not, then we will see you all first thing tomorrow morning for our 8 o'clock that always goes up. A lot of people hit the 8 o'clock early this morning. We had a great turnout, better than usual, which was always good. People, I'm Captain Tommy Scoville. This is the Lifeboat, and you people are doing an amazing job at making this thing bigger and better than I ever thought it could be. I really appreciate all of you getting on. And between now and the next time we do a video, which will be probably either tonight at 9 or first thing tomorrow morning, there is one assignment that we would like you all to do. Everybody remember what it is? Yes? Yes? Okay. People, let's get out there and try to save somebody, right? It's the right thing to do. I am the captain. Have a great day. Deja?